And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB. The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Sir?
Ah.
Manscaped?
Uh-huh.
Have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped, what are you thinking about
Love it.
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These
Wow.
caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
So
pick.
Manscaped is a must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to
Oh,
go
I
do the
know
deed
where-
on a woman,
I know where
would you
he's
rather
going.
have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
Racing stripe.
full retro bush?
Racing stripe.
Retro Bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro Bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to
Wow.
wander into that.
That's
thought
very
of it like
interesting.
that.
I never thought about that. You're a
Wow.
smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured,
Yeah,
you can see both sides. It's not
Like blinking lights on both sides of that
I
landing?
just don't. I don't want. I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha. Oh,
Yeah,
look
but-
what you found. Ooh.
I got to be honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found
have you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear, then
What is
retro? Just,
absolutely.
you're like, whoa.
Wow,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
like
46,
it
of
pops
course.
out?
Do you walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. He's a trooper. Got to give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say.
Bush.
I couldn't say. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Man, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
But
holy
with that,
Ron
we're going to take a
Jeremy,
quick
Batman.
commercial break, and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop kick.
Was learning. I'm not perfect. None of us are, but the strive for perfection is what keeps me going. That's what keeps me trying to get better, trying to learn more, trying to improve my flaws, my faults. And that's that's the constant drive for me. And I got to say, I'm 50 years old. I wouldn't even go back to 40 because I'm such a better person now. I know so much more, and I have so much better control of my life.
So do you know the point where you feel like you reached that balance in your life? Like what age was it, or what clicked in your mind that you got that balance?
I think that it's always been a steady, progressive kind of movement. You know, I don't think that I just like crossed a line one day and then had like a different perception. You know, like when I was young and into martial arts, you know, I was taught a couple of different ways to meditate and what you can get out of that. And along with that, you know, comes the positive energy, the Zen spirit. That was all very appealing to me to bring in, but that's because my default vibration was consistent with that. You know, they work together. My parents would always say that when I was young, I wasn't really dramatic. I was one to stay inside my head and keep my feelings to myself, you know, and I laugh if it's funny, but I don't give the obligatory laugh that people do just to keep the communication going. To me, I feel like I'm above that, and not always, but studying life now, I do. Now I see, okay, that's why I do that. That's why I don't do that. But it was always for me, you know, going in the same direction. I always feel like I had people tell me that they got positive vibes off me, even when I wasn't doing so good. Like there's times when I've been in the ring live on TV, suffering in my head, going through all kinds of stuff with my dad sick on his way out, the marriage, you know, going to hell, all kinds of stuff going on. And sometimes, I mean, usually you can take a break from that and get in the mind and focus and wrestle. Sometimes I'd be in the ring looking at the people live on Monday Night Raw, and these thoughts would be in my head. And I'd be saying, well, you know, just smile, you know, tap into the moment, whatever. And I would have people that know me, that are friends of mine, say, oh, I could tell you were so happy in the ring tonight. It feels so good to know you're enjoying yourself. I'd be like, really? And I came to own that, and I think that's good, and that is the way that I want to be seen. You know, I don't want to share bad energy. I know the way the world works, you know, and karma's a real thing. You put out good energy, it does come back to you. Same with bad energy. And I know a lot of people that have the opposite view on life. Some of them I can't seem to help. They have they have a reason for everything I can try to tell them about why what they're doing is going to lead to negative solutions, reactions, but they're victims, and they'll tell you why. You know, I can't do this. This is why. I can't do this. You know, that this won't. I tried to do this, and this didn't work. And that's really just a state of mind. It's a perspective. I wouldn't recommend it. I think, you know, life is an experiment, and you either experiment yourself or you get those results from communicating with other people, reading about it, whatever. But you know, boom, you're born. You go through this, and then you know, and then you're done. So why not open yourself up to experience what you want to experience in life? I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it because I know we all have our own conditions and such, but the mindset and the ability to control your mindset is something I think we all share.
Well said. Well said.
How much, I'm just curious, how much of your philosophy spilled over into your on-screen character, and does your philosophies help your on-screen character?
I would say that my philosophies are in everything that I do, so it must, whether it's an aid or hindrance, it is what it is, you know, and sometimes it could be either, you know. I mean, there was a lot of times where wrestling promoters want to see me angry, particularly in WWE. So many talks where we need to see an angry RVD, you know, like rip your ponytail out and be like, grrr, like we've never seen you really mad, and they really thought there's money in that. And I always thought,
that's not you.
It not only is that not me, but you got everybody else here who it is that.
Right.
I'm almost convinced now at 50 by studying, looking at wrestling posters and pictures. I think that 95% of the wrestlers get in the business so they can have a photo going. Why? Everybody does that.
I thought one of the greatest things you ever did was when you go like this. It's amazing.
Well, but it's natural.
Right.
And a lot of times I got to fight to be myself, which has been documented, you know. And I look back at sometimes and maybe I could have been a little more flexible, you know. I've always been ahead of my time, but in some ways I can say I always probably thought that I knew a lot more than I did. And I think that's probably true with all of us when we look back, you know, 20s, 30s. Now, when I look back, I was such a baby in my 20s. Like, I was so young. When I try to think about the mindset I was in, people want to know what, you know, hey, what was it like when you were in WCW working with this guy? I was like, I was a baby. I was 21. How would I have noticed anything going on behind the scenes?
Just like anybody else, you're just doing your thing and you're learning your way through it. So being as like peaceful as you seem to be, with all the civil unrest in this country and all this disease going on in the country, how does that affect Rob Van Dam?
Well, I mean, it's the world I live in. You know, it affects me in a way where inside I feel like I could help people. I do. And I feel a little bit of obligation to that because, like, whenever I do give, like, a speech, even this, some people are going to hear this and they're going to comment, like, one particular thing I said that really reached to them. I get that every time, and that means so much to me.
Good.
You know? Someone will just say, hey, when you said that about, you know, getting hurt but getting right back into it and trying it again, and man, that really, and dude, that's great because I have a lot of experience and I also have studied life for a long time, but we're all attracted towards different things in life. So we have these affinities and we all pay attention to different things in life, you know? So a lot of the stuff that I paid attention to while other people were, there's a lot that I don't pay attention to. That's I'm one of a kind. People know I'm unique. What you don't know is there's so many things that we don't have in common. You know, I know nothing about sports or about cars. For instance, you know, I can't have a conversation about the Mets game or whatever. I know nothing about that. I never learned how to dress nice and buy fancy stuff to try to get the girls, you know what I mean? So I resented like the kids in school that had the money to do that because they got the girls, but I never, you know, instead I just, you know, was trying to convince myself that my way was cool too and everyone would come around, you know, while adapting, learning throughout time, adjusting to get better. So, I mean, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned with what's going on in Afghanistan, you know, and especially putting the history behind it and then thinking like, okay, so now what? And I know people, you know, that were over there that are really affected by all their effort, you know, now seeming to go up in smoke. It's very concerning, but I tend to, for my spiritual purposes, surround myself with positivity. You know, if there's something that's stressing me out, I think everybody knows my vibe is different, you know. Matter of fact, one story, I've told this a few times, but I think maybe it'll be relevant and help explain. I was going to do a run-in on Chris Jericho, who was the champion at the time in WWE, and everybody, all the agents were telling me all day they wanted to see me mad, grrr, you know, whatever he did, I don't know. We had something going on, and they wanted me to run in. I'm gonna beat the shit out of him. Boom, 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 bam, splash him. Make my own count. 1, 2, 3. Hold the belt up. Yeah, throw the belt on him and get out of there, right? Which would have been really cool for me and my character and to be in that position. But everybody was just driving me nuts all day. Just think about something that really makes you mad. You know, just think about that. I was like, I got it. I'm a fucking professional. I'll be angry. I won't smile. But they were so into it. And right in Gorilla, before we went out there, Jericho said something to him before he went out there. And I already at this time like was having issues adapting to the politics there, which Jericho had already been familiar with. So wrestling Jericho, a lot of things at that time, you know, when he was talking to me, sounded like Office talking to me, and I'd be like, we butted heads a lot, you know, at that time. It was stressful. It's a whole different stage up there, politics and everything. It really is. So anyway, right before he goes out there, Chris says to me, he says, just, you know, pretend like I hit on your wife.
Okay.
The fuck kind of thing is that? And he went out there, and it was like the last straw. I was so mad. I was so stint. I went out there, hit him in the face hard, you know what I mean? Bam, bam, bam. He went down. I think I splashed him. I grabbed the belt. I forgot to even do the cover or anything. I threw the belt or something. I left. I went to the dressing room, grabbed my bags, threw everything together. I was so pissed. I didn't calm down until the next day. I had to leave. I couldn't even be around anybody. And I tend to have more of an even keel of my energy. And Katie will say this too. Like, she doesn't fight with me because she says this all the time, because if she gets me mad, she knows that it's going to be for days. Like, I don't know. Most people have, everybody has a wider range than I do.